Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here with my next Avatar news update. So we have another Avatar Legends Realms Collide video. Yesterday I covered the gameplay trailer. This is the cinematic trailer. It's actually what seems to be, I think it is, the full intro cinematic for the game. So if you've seen my previous videos, we've covered sections of this they've included in the marketing, but this seems to be the full thing because it has the full narration in it and it seems relatively complete. So I'm guessing this is the video that plays when you start up the game to explain what you are going to be doing. So let's kind of go through this. I'm not going to play much of the audio to you, so I'll link it below if you want to just have the full experience, but we're mainly going to be focused on visuals here. I'll play a little bit at the start just so you get a sense of the narrator speaking here.
In a time of peace and harmony between nations.
I'm not going to play any more of it. Like, does the narrator fit or not? It's okay, I guess. But it's nice that they're at least explaining what's going on in the game. But visually, of course, we start with map. We get a look at the Earth army kind of units, basically. We see the 4 avatars on the wall overlooking the armies, which is a kind of cool look. Then into this we've seen before, of course, in some of the split up parts of this trailer. A sinister threat emerges in the heart of the continent, and here is the Temple of Corruption. Now, we've heard about this before if you've looked up some of the information on like Discord about the game, some of the lore they've talked about on their like Twitter posts and so on. This is the home base effectively of the Shattered Skulls. They have a temple, I guess, because they need it for whatever's going on with Father Glowworm, who is going to be properly revealed in this trailer, which we will get to. They finally say the name of the spirit, so we need to stop being kind of coy about it as if we don't already know. So yeah, we move on and we see Chan Yu, Borte, of course, and Morong, who are of course characters that we have heard about in the bit. So we'll turn that off. And yeah, they worship a dark force hailing from the realm of the spirits, from the spirit world. Again, it is Glowworm. And then we just go through some of the stuff we've seen before, the kind of element sequence here, the title card, and then into the battle sequence involving these avatars. Just at the end of this little sequence, there is an extra bit here with Aang that we didn't see before. So we saw the airbending Aang Borte Kamehameha moment, but you can see here there's a little bit more action with Aang and Borte before that happens, as you can see here. And then it builds up to the big moment here that everyone is freaking out about on kind of social media. And then text-wise, you have to defeat this Chan Yu and the Shattered Skulls, banish the malevolent power at the heart of the Temple of Corruption. So story-wise, that's what you are going to be doing, is heading for the Temple of Corruption, because the implication is that, I guess, Glowworm is probably actually in the Temple of Corruption. But anyway, we end finally with the Glowworm reveal here. Ancient spirit known as Father Glowworm. So of course, we've known for a while now that basically the special spirit powers Chan Yu has is because of Glowworm. But now we get it more directly revealed. The name there, the eye in the sky. But then we get another better look here. As you can see, Aang facing off against Chan Yu, as Glowworm's kind of eye kind of emits an aura across the battlefield, but also you get the sense of like the veins of the eye. If you've read the book, the description of Glowworm is that like his primary like form is basically an eyeball kind of socketed somewhere, but it does have these veins and stuff like that. So very, very cool kind of to finally get a little bit more clear look at Glowworm, even if they are not yet, I suppose, properly revealing the design for the actual full-on like form of Glowworm. This is at least some kind of visual indicators of what's going on there. And then, of course, we have the fact that pre-register is open on both platforms for the game. Otherwise, again, I'll just reiterate that on the Apple Store that went up, they are still not leading with a release date yet, but the Apple Store says expected August 28th. This is just an expected, a guess release date, because I think on the Apple Store they have to set some sort of an expectation for when the game is coming out. But my understanding is that it pretty much could be and likely is going to be before this, because I think this is more of this is the last opportunity it could be, in that like they can't push this back. unless they have a good reason to push it back. So at the very latest, we're looking at the end of August, but it's probably going to be before then. But we are still waiting for an official release date for the game. So then I will end by just showing you some of the press release, and this is probably the main event information. Again, I think they don't seem to fully be aware that what is of interest to Avatar fans, given that I think a lot of people know the gameplay is probably not going to be for them necessarily. I think a lot of people are going to try it out, but I don't think this game is really going to suit a lot of Avatar fans. So it's going to depend on, does it have Avatar interesting, like Avatar visuals and stuff like that in relation to the characters? Does it have interesting characters? Well, we get some of that in the press release. Most of this is stuff that we know from before, obviously. But one thing that is quite interesting here is that in this About Avatar Legends Realms Collide section here, you can see here, the game brings together characters from the entire Avatar verse, Nickelodeon's Avatar The Last Airbender, Legend of Korra, and the best-selling comic books. And we've heard this before, up to here, we've heard this before, Avatar, Korra, and the comics. But now they've added on, and novels. That's huge. Just that word, novels, being included in the list of characters that this game can potentially have is very, very exciting, because suddenly now the game does actually have the potential to debut new character designs for characters who don't have an official design yet because they're only in the novels. Now, likely initially, my assumption here is that this probably means like a lot of the Kyoshi characters that we've seen from like the Avatar Generations update and stuff like that, those characters will probably come in first because all the work is mostly done. They just have to create a game model for this game for those characters. So the likes of Rangi, Heiran, Kelsong, Jeonju, I assume they'll come over early on. It makes sense. Kyoshi's very popular. Kyoshi's already in the game, so the characters who are related to Kyoshi are going to come over, I'm guessing. But this opens the door for the Yang Chen characters to come over. So like Kavik is of course probably the big one that we want to see. And it will be interesting to see whether they're like Yang Chen characters they choose. If they decide to maybe do something that maybe ties in with the launch of like the Roku book, if they're ready to go with that stuff immediately. Or if they're just going to focus on maybe Kyoshi initially. Because that's kind of where Avatar Generations was getting around to. So obviously, we have a bunch of characters from that era, but we still want to see stuff like, okay, moving past the obvious characters like Yoon, Kelsong, everyone like that, Rangi, Flying Opera Company members, so like Lao Ge, we really want to see designs for like those type of characters, Kirima, Wong, that sort of thing, and other characters as you go into the other books. This, at least, even if the game is not for you, we should at least, as a kind of fandom, benefit from the fact that there will be some official visuals and information relating to these characters. Because in-game, the characters do have a little bit of a character bio, which I'm assuming will just be information we already know, but it will be nice to see that when these characters do get added to the game. So currently, of course, we're still in the early stages. I don't think we've actually seen any novel characters like as revealed or anything like that, or even leaked yet. So we're waiting on reveals about potentially who these characters are. And I would say if anyone involved in the game is kind of watching, please make a big deal about this. You should be really highlighting that this is a pretty major thing, that you will have novel characters. For your hardcore Avatar fans, this is a draw to your game. One of the big things that Avatar Generations benefited from was the Kyoshi update has new characters and is kind of delivering new content. Your game has the potential to do that as well, especially given that the story here in relation to Father Glowworm is confirmed to be non-canon. Which the only other thing of interest in the press release is this. They do confirm that the writer who did the story stuff for this game is Tim Hedrick, who of course worked on Avatar and Korra. And yeah, they're highlighting the first glimpse of Father Glowworm here, because technically Avatar Generations ended before they got to like officially debut the Father Glowworm design. So even though we as fans have probably seen the kind of the art pieces that came out that were in the game files for Father Glowworm. This will be the first game to like officially kind of utilize the visuals of Father Glowworm, so that's pretty interesting. So I think that's pretty much everything I want to talk about with this one. So in the comments, let me know what your thoughts are on the cinematic trailer that I showed you there. But I suppose more than that, what are your thoughts on novel characters confirmed for the game? Even if you're not planning to play, I think this is an exciting prospect for the images of these characters to go around. Hopefully they get the right characters and they're able to kind of debut new designs. Avatar Studios existing should allow that to happen with not too much problem. So that's the main thing there. Otherwise, this is all stuff that we already basically know about the game already. So yeah, in the comments, let me know what your thoughts are on everything here. But that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.